You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
Trump wants to sabotage his own party to send a message about himself. Biographer, based on an article by Benito L. Kelty. Trump's favorite policy is blame. The story in brief. Michael Wolff reading is simple. Trump is not trying to help Republicans win the midterms. He is sabotaging them so that, if they lose, he can say the party failed without him and prove they still need him. The cited example is the bipartisan housing bill he refuses to sign, a bill Wolff says could have helped the GOP present itself as functional and responsive before the midterms. Who has power? The power here is not diffuse. Trump has it. He may not hold an office in the moment described, but he still has the capacity to block a bipartisan win, shape Republican incentives, and decide which senators get treated as loyalists and which get cast out. That is institutional power operating through personal domination. Republican leaders are not passive victims. They are the people who built a party so dependent on Trump that he can punish them and still remain their center of gravity. Thune and John Cornyn are not being randomly named in some interpersonal feud. They are examples of a party hierarchy that Trump can still override at will. What Trump is doing. The important fact is not that Trump likes blaming people. It is that blame is his governing method. If the party loses, he wants the loss to belong to everyone else. If a bipartisan housing bill might let Republicans look competent, he withholds it. If the Senate leadership needs a win, he turns it into leverage. That is not confusion. It is political sabotage in service of personal branding. The objective is to make the party's prospects less important than his myth, that no Republican can function without him. The GOP's own trap. This is what happens when a party trades institutional coherence for cult loyalty. Once a movement centers one man, every potentially useful act of governance becomes subordinate to his need for credit, grievance, and control. A bipartisan housing bill is no longer a policy instrument. It is a threat to the leader's monopoly on importance. Cornyn being scooped out of the way by Ken Paxton in the primaries matters here, because it shows the machinery that made this possible. Trump-endorsed hardliners displacing institutional conservatives, then all of them pretending this is still a normal party with normal accountability. It is not. It is a chain of submission. The misdirection, the weak framing, if there is one, is the idea that this is mainly about Trump's personality. Personality explains the style. Power explains the damage. A man who can casually deprive his own party of a bipartisan legislative win is not just moody or vindictive. He is demonstrating that the Republican Party's internal order now rewards self-sabotage when it preserves his primacy. The real misdirection is the one Republicans themselves rely on, treating deliberate harm as if it were mere chaos. It is not chaos when the outcome consistently protects one man's authority and weakens everyone else's claim to govern. The pattern. This is the authoritarian pattern in miniature. Burn the institution, blame the wreckage on the people left holding it, then demand more loyalty as the price of repair. Trump does not need the GOP to succeed as a party. He needs it to remain dependent, broken, and frightened enough to confuse obedience with survival. That is the political lesson. A party that cannot outgrow one man will eventually learn to serve his ego before it serves its own voters. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Raw Story for today's article. With the automated voice of Marcus, thanks for listening.